Hi everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is another book haul video. I remember last year I decided I wasn't going to do these, but here we are anyway. Not long ago I uploaded a book haul of all the books that I bought while I was on holiday in Sydney in March, and then these are all of the physical books I bought in March, not on that trip. There are less of them than I thought there would be now that I'm sitting here looking at them. But we're going to do this video anyway. First book I'm going to show you is from my new local indie bookstore. It opened end of March, I think. We've gone a really long time without one because the last one shut down because the owners retired and no one bought the store, which was really unfortunate. And then a few years after that, a co-op bookstore opened up and we have two like really well stocked Lifeline stores. And so it's not like there's been no place to buy books, but there's been no place to buy new books. And it's just really exciting to have a local indie again, because a friend and I went there and it was still waiting on a lot of its stock, so it didn't have a huge range. But I was very impressed with the fact that there were 7 queer books there and 6 of them were by queer authors, which was honestly more than I was expecting. But I have high hopes for this store now. Anyway, so the first book that I picked up is Summer by Ali Smith, which is part of a series called Seasons, I think, which Ali Smith wrote in response to Brexit. This is actually the 4th and final one. The first one is Autumn, I think. But when I bought this, the owner of the store said that he would be ordering in the other 3 books in the series, and my friend went there last week and sent me a picture of the shelf, and they are now all in stock, so I just have to go and buy them and then I will be able to read this series. And actually, if I get my skates on, I can start with Autumn and read it in autumn and then read all of the others like in the seasons where they're set. That would be exciting. I might do that. So this was $22.99, which is recommended retail. I'm just really excited to have this store and to finally get into this series because I've heard really great things about it. Next book that I'm going to show you I bought because I found it really cheap on the internet, and usually these books are over $35 to buy in hardcover, and it's not that I particularly cared about getting the hardcover or not, but the hardcovers were in stock in this country and the paperbacks weren't, so I ended up going for the hardcovers. And then also this was really cheap, and it is A Choir of Lies by Alexandra Rowland. I haven't read any like books that Alexandra Rowland has written, but they also write fanfiction for The Untamed, and one of my favorite Untamed fanfictions ever was written by them. So that's very exciting. My friend Echo has read these and said that they were really good. In general, I've heard nothing but great things. I think it's just going to be full of angsty queer disaster people, and that is always my preferred brand of fantasy, so I'm very excited to get into this. This is actually the second in the duology. The other one came out first, so I am going to read that first. And I do own that, but I didn't buy it in March, so it's not in this video. And then the next 2 books I picked up from Little Book Room. I just had a moment of panic about the fact that these books are now published in the US and they have a cover change, and I just irrationally thought maybe I wouldn't be able to get the covers that match the editions that I currently have anymore, and so I bought these, and now I have the full collection, sort of. The books are I Was Born for This and Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman. I've read this one as an ebook on Scribd. I've also read This Winter, but I haven't read any other like novels by Alice Oseman, only the Heartstopper series. So hopefully now I have them all, I will actually read them, maybe. My copy of Radio Silence actually doesn't have the cover that matches this, but the spine is the same color as the edition that matches this. So I'm not worrying too much about the fact that it's different, but maybe one day I will cave and I will buy the cover that matches, but we'll see. I have the one with the face on it, which I don't mind actually. I quite enjoy it. And then the next book I wanted to pick up while we were in Sydney, but just none of the stores had it in stock. Actually, that's a lie, because I bought it from a bookstore in Sydney, but it was one that I didn't go to because it was just a little bit too far away and a little bit inconvenient to get to. And that's the bookshop Darlinghurst. But after I came back, that bookshop put pretty much all of their books out for 20% off, just as a way to get people to buy some more to help them boost their income, because they were struggling a little bit for the last few years because of COVID. And I wanted to buy a bunch, but I didn't really have the money after the holiday, so I only bought one. and it is The 30 Names of Night by Zane Jukadar. I have his book The Map of Salt and Stars, but this is his newest one, and this is also in my friend Echo's book club, and it's actually the book for March and April, so I will hopefully be reading it before the end of April. I'm pretty certain that this is queer. Zane is trans. I've heard nothing but good things about his work, and I'm just very excited to read it for myself. This was $34.99, and then with 20% off it was like $27.99, and then I paid postage on top. And then the last book I picked up mostly for the novelty, and because I was making an order from Big W and I thought I might as well pick it up while I was on the website, and it is Run Rose Run by Dolly Parton and James Patterson. I'm more inclined to believe that Dolly Parton actually wrote this book than I am to believe that James Patterson did, because James Patterson's novels are ghost written and have been for several decades. If you didn't know that, now you do. But Dolly Parton at least wrote a whole album to go with this book. So I'm just very intrigued. It's a thriller, I think. Anyway, I quite enjoy Dolly Parton. I'm excited to read this and listen to the album as I go, and hopefully I will enjoy it. Anyway, those are all the books that I bought in March, not on my holiday. If you've read any of them, please feel free to let me know what you thought of them. If you just want to let me know that you were here, leave me a rose emoji. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.